She kept jamming a gold-colored key into my front door like she was cracking a safe. The metal scraped, but it wouldn't turn. "That's impossible," she snapped. Then she pulled out her phone and dialed 911. When the operator answered, I recognized the voice she was about to lie to immediately. I had moved into the neighborhood 3 weeks earlier. Quiet street. Clean lawns. The kind of place where everyone waves but also watches. And then there was her. Linda Carver. HOA president. Self-appointed guardian of community standards. She introduced herself on my second day with a clipboard and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "This community operates under strict guidelines," she told me. "We maintain access to all properties for inspection purposes." I didn't argue. I just nodded. Fast forward to that afternoon. She stood on my porch holding what she proudly called the HOA master key. "You changed the locks without authorization," she accused. "I changed the locks because I bought the house," I said calmly. "That violates Section 8.4. She slid the key in dramatically. It didn't move. She tried again. Harder. Nothing. Her confidence cracked for half a second. Long enough for Mrs. Jensen across the street to peek through her curtains. "There must be a mechanical issue," Linda muttered. "No," I said. "There isn't." That's when her face tightened. "You're obstructing a lawful HOA inspection. I'm calling 911. I almost laughed, but she was already dialing. And that's when things got interesting. She turned slightly away from me, like that would make it private. 911, what's your emergency?" Her tone changed instantly. Softer. Dramatic. "Yes, I'm the HOA president of Willow Creek Estates. A resident is refusing lawful access and behaving aggressively." Aggressively. I folded my arms and leaned against my porch railing. The operator's voice stayed calm. "Ma'am, is there immediate danger?" "Well, not immediate, but he's intimidating me and tampering with HOA property." HOA property. Interesting choice of words. The dispatcher asked for the address. She gave mine. Then she gave my name. And that's when I saw it. The slight pause. Because the dispatcher already knew it. She didn't realize the man calmly watering his lawn while she made her dramatic call. Worked night shifts at County Dispatch. Me. I wasn't the only one listening to that conversation. I recognized the dispatcher's voice too. It was Mark. And Mark recognized my address. He kept his voice neutral. "Ma'am, do you have documented authorization granting you entry into a private residence?" "Yes, under HOA Master Access Policy." "I'll need confirmation of that policy." Her confidence wavered. For the first time, she hesitated. Linda straightened her posture as 2 more neighbors stepped outside, pretending to check their mail. "Of course I have authorization," she insisted into the phone. "It's written in our bylaws." Mark didn't argue. He asked simple questions. "Does the policy override state property law?" Silence. "Well, it grants inspection rights." "For interior access?" Another pause. She looked back at me, clearly annoyed that I wasn't reacting. Mark continued. "Ma'am, is there smoke, fire, medical emergency, or immediate threat?" "No." "Has the resident threatened you?" "He's being hostile." I raised an eyebrow, but stayed quiet. Mark's tone shifted slightly, still calm but firmer. "Misuse of emergency services is taken seriously. If this is a civil dispute, officers can respond, but it will be documented." That word hung in the air. Documented. Linda swallowed. "Yes. Send officers. Units are on the way." She ended the call and turned toward me with a victorious smile. "You should have just complied." I checked my watch. "I'm sure we'll clear everything up." Inside, I already knew how this would end. Because when dispatch logs a call, notes get attached. And Mark was very, very thorough. The patrol car rolled in slower than she expected. 2 officers stepped out. Linda marched toward them before they even reached the sidewalk. "Thank you for coming. This resident is obstructing HOA enforcement." One officer nodded politely. "Ma'am, can we see documentation granting forced interior access?" She handed over a stapled packet titled HOA Master Access Policy. The officer skimmed it, then flipped to the last page, then looked up. "Ma'am, This outlines exterior inspections and emergency maintenance coordination. It does not authorize entry into a private residence without consent or a warrant. Her face drained slightly. That's not correct. We've always had a master key. Who issued it? The previous board. Was it filed with the county? She blinked. Well, no. The second officer spoke. Dispatch notes indicate there is no immediate emergency and no threat reported. This appears to be a civil HOA dispute. The neighbors were fully outside now. Phone subtly raised. Linda's voice lost volume. He changed the locks without notifying the board. The first officer nodded. Homeowners are legally allowed to secure their private property. She stiffened. But I'm the HOA president. Yes, ma'am. The way he said it wasn't disrespectful, but it wasn't impressed either. Then she asked the question. Who took my call? The officer checked his notepad. Call was logged by dispatcher Morales. Her head snapped toward me. Morales. She looked back at the officer. I want to speak to him. There was a quiet beat. I stepped forward off the porch. That won't be necessary. The street went still. I'm dispatcher Morales, I said calmly. The realization hit her in layers. The door. The call. The questions. The pauses. You, she started. Yes, I replied. And for the record, you reported an aggressive resident and unauthorized property tampering. Both statements were logged. Her mouth opened but nothing came out. The officer added gently, false or exaggerated emergency reporting can result in fines. I didn't smile. I didn't need to. Next time, I said evenly. Maybe read the bylaws more carefully. The silence that followed was louder than anything she'd said all afternoon. The HOA board called an emergency meeting 2 days later. Linda voluntarily stepped down. The master key policy was formally dissolved. A written clarification was issued to all residents. Interior access requires homeowner consent or legal authority. No exceptions. Neighbors who once avoided eye contact now waved sincerely. Mrs. Jensen even brought cookies. I installed a doorbell camera, not because I was worried, but because I prefer documentation. And Linda? She stopped walking on my side of the street. Peace returned. Without a master key. Some people confuse authority with ownership. But a title doesn't override the law. And a master key doesn't unlock every door. Especially when the person on the other side of it controls the call. Sometimes the loudest power move is simply knowing the rules better.